Fantastic.
I hope you all heard that.
Yes. So, I would like to start with an acknowledgement, and then we'll have a chat about what we're going to do. So I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land and water where we all reside. For me, I'm in the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. I'd like to pay respect to all elders, past, present, and emerging, and especially any elders or their descendants who might be here today. All right, so today we're all here to work out how we can save some money. So first off, to get you started, I might get you to just pop in the chat for me so that we know you're here. Pop in and tell us what your suburb is and how much you, or if you want to, how much you spend weekly on your grocery bill.
Wow, is that like a trick question, Lulu?
Yeah, it is. I have no idea actually, because I'm terrible with maths, but I'm sure there's a few people here who want to pinch some pennies. Amanda, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. So as Lulu said, just welcome everybody and thanks for coming tonight. It's chilly out there in Melbourne land. Some of us are coming out of lockdown and oh my God, hasn't this week been tough? Or the last 2 weeks has been tough. Well, it has been for me and I'm over it. But anyway, I've been a team leader. I've been with Thermomix for 11 years. Consultant, team leader, really love what I do. Love the product, and I was really drawn to, Thermomix land, just probably like you guys, went to a demo all that time ago. Once I made a decision to have a Thermomix in my kitchen, that was it for us. And, here we are. I just love what I do. And it's, I always say to my guys, it's, the Thermomix attracts like-minded people, which is why you're all here today. And we all come into, we all look at a Thermomix for different reasons. So what I love is going to be different to you, but isn't that what nice is that we meet so many different people with so many different needs and whys of Thermomix. So cost saving is a big one of them. And, when we meet people, we like to chat to our customers about what's important to them. And I hear this question a lot is about cost saving, because people are making that decision about a Thermomix and how it can, benefit them in their kitchen, but also, cost saving is a big one of them. So tonight, as you listen to Lou and I, just think about what it is that, it resonates with you as far as Thermomix and cost saving. I mean, for yourselves, I'm pretty sure everyone on here tonight is an owner, but, you invested in a Thermomix and it sits very proudly on your bench. So now you want to turn that into a bit of, money saving. It could turn into a business partner, and things like that. So let's just, go with the flow. We'll chat, look at the chat box, and we'll share everything we can with you. So that's just a little bit about me and tonight.
Thanks so much, Amanda. That's lovely. Yeah. So I'm a fairly new team leader in Melbourne's Inner West. I'm based in West Footscray, and I started as a team leader in September. I've been on and off with Thermomix since 2013. Had a bit of a maternity break here and there. It really is my passion, and one of the things I do love about it is the community that it builds. So hopefully, I'd like tonight to be quite interactive. I'd like to get to know some of you a little bit. So feel free to have your cameras on. We do have quite a lot of people on tonight, so probably best to use the chat if you want to interact with us. But yes, and I can see, I'm going to single you out. I'm sorry, Jay, but I can see Jay there who just got his Thermomix last week. Congratulations on your new baby. And it's great that you've come tonight. All right. Sorry, I just saw you in that window there, Jay. You just popped up on my screen, so I thought, I'll say hello. Anyway, so tonight I'm notoriously bad with maths and numbers, and so that's why we're going to leave it all up to you to do the number crunching. Maybe tell us in the chat, are you good with your budget, with your budgeting, and do you do meal planning? Just let us know. We would like to know that. Now I'm just trying to, my PowerPoint seems to have disappeared again. Let me just find it. And I will.
Now the big thing with meal planning is, are you using your cookie dough? So we're all avid users of cookie dough, also obviously with your Thermomix, but how are you using that to meal plan and essentially cost save? So we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight, how cookie dough can help you. with planning, cost saving, you know, working out your basic ingredients. Are you doing those on a monthly basis? Or, you know, you might have sort of this rotation of recipes that you do all the time. Your fakeaways, your waste, you know, your wastage of food and that sort of thing. So if there's lots of topics there that interest you, then also pop them in the chat box so we can easily, like, we're kind of freewheeling tonight. We've got a lovely PowerPoint that Lily's put together, but we're going to be guided by you guys because essentially it's your session. So yeah, let's have fun.
That's just it. And I have just put my PowerPoint up, but for some reason it's not letting me share it like it did 5 minutes ago when we tested it, of course.
Really, Lulu?
Yeah, I know. Can you believe that?
Got multiple, yeah.
Got it. Oh, it's saying
it's the world of technology, right? So we've had that year of just zooming and, you know, mastering our own direction and that sort of thing.
Yeah. It's telling me, and I did just share it. We just tested it like 5 minutes ago and it was all working. But of course, you know, I work in IT, so of course my IT is not going to work, just to show you that we're real. While I'm getting this up, Amanda, do you want to tell me what's happening in the chat there? Has anyone put some?
I sure can. So I've got a message from Joe. No budget, occasional meal planning. Got my Thermomix last week. Looking forward to using Cookie Dough to meal plan for my family, including 3 kids. So that's great. Kids, you know, you can look at all our lunchbox type recipes. You know, all those fillers that a lot of people buy with packaging and that sort of thing. So something that really resonates with me. I mean, my boys are out of school now, but for years and years and years, I cooked, you know, did everything in the lunchboxes for Thermomix, which was great. Yeah.
That's great.
Your PowerPoint's up, so that's one. There you go. It's all good.
Lovely. Okay, yep. Let's crack on. Okay, so really today we are going to leave it up to you to find out, can you get the Thermomix to pay itself off? Can it pay for itself? So what we're going to get you to do, as you know, I'm really bad with maths. So you're going to be tallying up your own savings. So grab a pen, paper and calculator, or if you're a spreadsheety person, have your spreadsheet ready to go. We're going to be talking about a weekly grocery bill. And what I want you to do as we go through, tally up, you know, so if you see a saving that you can make on your weekly bill, put down how much you're going to save each week on that particular item, just a guesstimate. And
maybe too, Lulu, if you've got some items that you know that already are a cost saving for you, pop them in the chat boxes. We can share those too, because Lulu and I have got our own lists, and you know, some things are similar, but of course, you know, as we all do our own things and we're the master of our own kitchens and our budgeting, you know, it's different. It can look different for many, right?
That's right. And, you know, originally we did anticipate that this class would be pitched at people who don't have a Thermomix already. But what we found is that a lot of our existing Thermomix owners want to know more about how they can save money with Thermomix. So let's rock and roll and we will see it. So has everyone got their pen and paper ready to go, saving up your chat? We will have a small prize at the end. I know we have got a lot of consultants on tonight, which is fantastic. Thank you for joining us. Consultants really do so well out of Thermomix. They're probably making the biggest savings of all because they've actually got a business on their bench and they're earning a bit of money from it. So unfortunately, consultants, the prizes can't be won by a consultant, but we'll see how we go with everyone else. All right. So let's just have a look at our next slide. So this is just really, you know, by making things yourself. So we've probably got a range of people in here, I'd imagine, because if you've had a Thermomix for a while, you're probably already naturally doing a lot of these things yourselves. So maybe in the chat, if you see something in here that you're making or that you want to make that could save you money, pop in the chat and tell us which ones of these do you think you'd save money on. So you might just have a little run through. I'm going to go through the table on the right first, the Smart Savings Costing Table. So for example, yogurt. Now I've actually got, I will do some show and tell in a minute, but I've got my little yogurt pots here. These come in a set of 8 from our mix shop. Now, I know we go through a lot of yogurt in our house. I've got 2 little girls. We go through about 2 litres of yogurt every fortnight. So I make that. And I reckon my yogurt costs me probably $2 or $3 for the 2 litres to make. But according to this chart, 1 large tub, which I think is about, like if you look at the Gelner, I think that's a 600 or 700 gram tub. So that's about $700. $700. See, I told you
$700.
$700. I'm exaggerating. $7. And they're saying that it would cost about 96 cents to make that. What have we got in the chat? What are people finding is going to save them some money in this chart?
Haven't got any ingredient. Oh, here we go. Someone, yeah, Koyo. So a lot of people love the Koyo, which is a coconut yogurt. Can be made in the Thermomix. Doing it that way. I mean, Koyo is quite expensive. That can be anywhere from like sort of in the $10 mark for 250 grams. So yeah, if you're a coconut lover or a Koyo lover, yeah, depending on the brand and where you're buying it, there's a cost saving there. So love that. Another one in there, Lulu, is peanut butter. Oh, hey, I'm a fan of the peanut butter. I do it all the time. In fact, I'm not in the kitchen because all my guys are home, but I would just use something like that. On cue, I just use salted peanuts. These are Coles or Woolworths. They're about $2.50, and that would give me half a packet would be something like a jar of peanut butter. The other half, you know, and then go ahead and do like this ball.
Oh, sorry, my screen's frozen. I'm hoping you can all hear everything. Oh dear.
Quince paste. Love that. Hello. I think we lost our Lulu. Oh, here we go.
I'm back. Sorry,
my back
died on me. How rude.
Is your internet not good tonight, hun? Oh, here we go. Back to the cost savings table. Yep. So we just quickly talked about, or in the chat box there was people talk about peanut butter, which we showed, quince paste, tandoori paste, etc. That's the starters. So they are, and do you know how much they all cost? Like when you buy those ingredients, are you buying those items when you look at the price, or is it a cost saving only if they're mixed that resonates with you? What is it?
Great. Well, I'm hoping some people have written down a few savings from this. Yeah, because there's definitely some good things in there. How are we going? Is everyone writing down some stuff? Some savings? Yeah, great. Okay. Do you want another minute on this slide, or should we move along? You want another minute? Okay. All right. We've got a few people writing things down. So maybe while we're doing that, I might start show and tell some of the things I've got in my kitchen. So I was showing you these cute little yogurt pots, which I love. Another thing I find these are great for, I make my own up and go. So I tend to do a low carb diet. So the up and go in the supermarket is full of not only preservatives and everything, but calories, and they cost about, $3, $4 for a little one single serve. And I can make, 8 of these, which is one serve is enough for me, of the low carb up and go from the low carb cookbook. And I reckon it's probably like $3 to make the, 8 of those jars. So just while you're writing stuff down, I'll show you some other things that I've got here. Actually, I'm going to start with, hopefully you can see me. I'm going to start with this almond milk. So my daughter's lactose free. So especially if you are if you have allergies or intolerances, what you might find is, making your own nut milks. And I know and I'm sorry, Jay, I'm picking on you tonight, but I know Jay's lactose or dairy intolerant, and one of the reasons he was attracted to the Thermomix is because he's got a very limited diet because of that, or he's spending a lot of money on koyo and things. So making your own nut milk, now is that in this list? Because I tend to make like about 1 to 2 litres of this at a time. If you're into making nut milks, you should get a nut milk bag. We do sell them in the mix shop. Can we see that in there, the nut milk? Don't think it is there, but basically you use about 200 grams of almonds. So if you're buying your almonds in bulk, it's probably going to cost you about $2 to make 2 litres of the almond milk. That's my guess. My maths is pretty bad. What do you reckon, Amanda? Does that sound about right?
That would sound about right, but more expensive if you're buying it, obviously.
Yeah. So if you buy the almond milk, how much would you be spending on that?
They can be anywhere from $4 to $8 for 500 ml.
Yep. Right.
Yep. And
oh, there we go. Yeah, Jay's saying $4 a litre. So there we go. So we've pretty much halved our costs on that. Some of the other things, and these are I've just picked out some stuff that I always have in my pantry or in my fridge. So here I've got all my spice mixes. So I've got the Caribbean spice mix, taco seasoning, garam masala, korma spice mix, so not only do they look really pretty, you get all these different colors. I normally have a gyros one, but I made some amazing fake away gyros this week, and I used up all that seasoning. Now these are a great time saver too, because you can make all your spice mixes in advance. So rather than spending, on a taco kit, you can even make your own tortillas, which are just gorgeous. So I would, in the past, before Thermomix, I would have probably spent $6 to $8 on a taco kit, plus the chicken, plus the veggies. Whereas now I have my taco seasoning, make my own salsa. It's really reduces that cost quite a lot. Because if you buy the little individual packet of taco seasoning with all the preservatives, you're probably looking at $3 to $4. Whereas I make a big batch of it and it lasts me for months. And we have
a question from Lisa. Yeah, taco seasoning, all those things are on Cookie Dough, Lisa, peanut butter, Nutella. So just search them or look at your collections for your basic items in those basic collections, and all those are there. So of course, spice mixes, all of that at your fingertips. Yep.
Lovely. All right. Well, I might come back to these tables because you're probably going to see a few more savings as we go through. So I'll move to the next slide. So, and we've kind of talked about a few of these. So some of our things, so the spice mix, the yogurt, stocks. So here's my standard pantry staples. So I always have chicken, beef, and vegetable stock. So when I make, for example, the vegetable stock, this is a 1 litre container. And I make 2 of these out of my veggie stock. Probably I use up a lot of the old veggies that are going limp in the bottom of the fridge that need to be used. Great for stock. They add lots of flavour and you're reducing waste. And your stock, you all probably have made that because most of you have Thermomixes.
I've got a great tip on the stocks, Lulu, is some of my customers, myself even, is I will just use all my vegetable scraps and put them in a Ziploc bag and put them in the freezer. So when I do go to make my stock, I'll have, that I'll pull out that Ziploc bag and a combination of the others. And it is a great way if you're sort of into zero waste. We try and do as much as we can in that area, and it's a great way to use, carrot ends, all those sort of things, carrot ends, things, zucchini ends, all those, even herbs that might be going a little bit, south, put them in that freezer bag, and it's just like a little Ziploc bag of scraps, exactly like that, and you can just use that when you go to make your stock.
This one's
got to be a cost saving.
Yeah, this one's the silicone little Ziploc bag that you can use over and over. All right. So if you haven't made the chicken stock and you're not vegetarian, this, without doubt, is the best stock ever. So So I don't know. That's my favourite. Anyway, I use it a lot. Okay, some of the other stuff I've got on my bench here is rosemary salt. Just adds beautiful flavour to everything. And again, the recipe is in Cookie Dough for this. This one's, it just smells delicious. Use it on your potatoes, just spice everything up. And it's very basic recipe. You do bake it in the oven and it really ingrains the flavour of that rosemary into your salt. Another money-saving tip, how many of you are growing herbs? Let me know in the chat if you grow your own herbs or veggies, because rosemary grows wild. Even if you're in an apartment, you can put some, you know, on the veranda in a little pot, and I'm sure it would take off.
So something I do with salt, Lulu, is, love that one with the herb salt, but you could just, you know, have a bulk supply of salt in your pantry. So we do things like lemon salt, you know, peeling your lemon zest. I mean, I can never throw a lemon out, so I always peel my lemon zest, whether I peel it, you know, mill it and dry it. So it's really good to go in salad dressings, through cakes. I'm a bit zesty. I love that sort of thing. Do that with orange peel as well. I love like a porcini salt. So, you know, just some dry porcinis mixed through some salt, really nice. And of course, we're coming into truffle season. So that's another great way to keep the truffles alive and put them through some salt. So there's 4. And just great gifts as well. So when you're, you know, if you do make up a jar for yourself and do it as a little gift, it's just so nice. You know, you go to a dinner party, take something that you made in your Thermomix. You know, your friends that know you've got a Thermomix are always talking, what have you made in Thermomix? And you just give them those beautiful little gifts. So things like that will last as well. So when you want to make 1 jar, make 2. So that's a bit of a cost saving.
Yeah, actually,Ve got some little gifty things I'll show in a second.
Yep.
That's great. So I've got some chili chutney. There's not much left because it's amazing, especially with cheese. Very quick and easy to use. And if you've got your TM6 and you haven't used that high heat yet, this is a great recipe for that. It's got the sauteed onions, which are just beautiful. Other little gift ideas, apricot jam. So again, this is a really good cost saver. So when you go to the shops and you see that fruit on sale, grab it, make some jam, see what's seasonal, what's on sale, and make something. And like, you know, your jam will probably make four of these little pots, and they're great little gifts. Our frosting lady, when I take the kids to school, she loves the jam. She's always like, been cooking lately? I'm like, do you want some jam, Jeanette? And she's like, oh, yes, please.
There's actually an awesome recipe on the recipe community, and it's called just 1 punnet strawberry jam. So something, you know, that you always think about is making jam in really big batches. But this one recipe, I'll grab the link and put it in the chat box. You know, you just buy that one random punnet when they're really down reduced, and it just make 1 jar of jam. So you don't need to have, like, you know, 10 jars of jam sitting there. But if you just do 1 at a time as you need it, I mean, that is a great cost saving as well.
It is. And the gifts as well, because if you're making gifts, people generally love homemade edible gifts. These other ones here aren't, but these are pickled things, but so not really Thermomix, but you know, it's just gifts are another way of saving lots of money. The Mother's Day stall, do a big cook up, and you know, provide lots of things for that. Okay. What else have we got in this list? I don't know why I put them down the bottom there, but coffee and chai latte. How many of you are making those in your Thermomix? Or how many of you want to make those in your Thermomix? Oh, great. Yep, there's the speedy strawberry jam. Thanks, Amanda, in the chat. So let's talk about coffees. We're in Melbourne. We're all coffee fanatics, aren't we? Or a chai latte, maybe, depending which way you go. So, you know, your regular in a coffee shop, you're looking at roughly $4.50, $5. Whip up, you know, check out, and again, it's on Cookie Dough. There is recipes for lattes and hot chocolates and all that sort of stuff. So you can definitely save a bit of money, you know, whipping up your own, and they're just beautiful. Sandesha's saying she's tried the Masala Chai. Now that is a great one. So I did an Indian class a few weeks ago with Smita, who I think might be on tonight, one of my consultants. And she makes her own chai masala powder in the Thermomix. And just add it into tea, add it into lots of different food that you're cooking. We made turmeric lattes, which were just gorgeous and wonderful for fighting colds. And so, you know, if you're thinking about making your own, you know, you're using a little bit of milk and, you know, your coffee or your chai, whatever it is, and you're probably getting your latte for like 30, 40 cents maybe.
Right. The other thing we find with store-bought chais is that, you know, some of them can have a lot of milk powder fillers. So if you're making them with your Thermomix, obviously you're in control of that. And there's some awesome recipes on cookie dough, especially, you know, Indian-based, because we know that, you know, the background of the chai is from India. So if you love chai, definitely make your own. You get a nice big jar, you know, for $3 because it's just your milling. Exactly.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about breads. I haven't got a bread to show you today. I've been doing low carb, but you know, low carb breads in the supermarket, gluten-free breads in the supermarket, they're pricey. But if you're making your own, say, almond meal to put in these breads, making your own breads, let's just start with, say, you know, if you're a white bread eater, your jumbo loaf of white bread, you know, you might be spending, you know, what, $4 for the jumbo white in the supermarket. I go and buy, I'm in there a local Indian shop and they stock all the flours. Other good places to buy your baker's flours are places like Costco. Even Coles and Woolies have a big bag. My big bag of flour costs, it's 12.5 kilos and it cost me $12. So, you know, we're probably looking at what, $1 a kilo or a bit under $1 a kilo for my flour. So when I go to make a loaf of bread, I use generally between 300 and 500 grams of flour. So, you know, if you think about that, your loaf of bread is costing you 50 cents or less.
That's true. The other cost savings for bread making is if you're wanting to sort of add that wholemeal touch, you can just use wheat grain. So once again, if you're using a wheat grain or, you know, any type of grain that you want to mix through, that's going to be cost saving as well. Now, wheat grain's really cheap to buy, you know, versus your wholemeal flour. So 100, normally a lot of the recipes just include about 100 grams of wheat grain. So you just mill that first and then you mix along with your recipe. So that's a great cost saving. And you can, you know, use other grains to mix through your breads as well.
Yeah. Now I'm just going to whip through a couple of things that I've got here. So this is the leftover of the cake that we got out to the playground on the weekend, and I just whipped up a cake. This is a zebra bunt cake, but my knife wasn't so sharp, so you can't really see the pattern too well. But and as you can see, there's not much left of it. But you know, a huge big cake, took me an hour to make, and yeah, probably cost about $3 to make. I had everything here ready to go.
To see here too, Lulu, I've got Rachel, she makes focaccia. That's awesome. 5C bread, well, that's just an oldie but a goodie. Been making that for years. Yeah, milling grains in the Thermomix, of course. And people are saying don't taunt us with your cakes. Probably right.
Oh, well, soon you'll be able to come over and have some. Yeah, well, let's talk about cakes and sweets because you know, this is one of my favorites. The donut tin, and I forgot to get out my cupcake pen, but this is fantastic from our mix shop. All the rose gold bakeware, you don't have to grease it, it's just this beautiful non-stick. If you're into healthy, you can make pumpkin donuts that are somewhat healthier. They're in cookie dough, but these donuts, my favorites are the soft cinnamon donuts. You know, and I always just have everything in the pantry. I don't ever, because you know, once your pantry's stocked, it's stocked. And I find, you know, to make a tray of donuts, it, you know, probably costs, I'm going to have a wild guess here, but tell me if I'm wrong, but I reckon it would probably cost maybe $1.50 to make a tray of donuts. You know, a bit of cinnamon.
Absolutely. And the beauty is you're not, you know, deep frying them. So baked donuts, awesome. You can still coat them with lovely, you know, cinnamon sugar and things that you made in Thermomix, but have a look online on Cookie Dough. There's like, you know, pumpkin donuts and, you know, there's the nasties and the goods. We've got a couple of girls in our team that are awesome donut makers. And when they arrive with that big basket of donuts, it's like, oh, my lordy.
Yeah. Another one here. This is the rose gold Madeleine tray. So you can make these beautiful little Madeleines. Look really dainty. They look amazing when you make them. There's a rose water one, which is really nice. Again, very cheap to make, and they look beautiful. What else have I got here? Pizza tray. So we talked about breads, but basically making your own pizza bases, which I'm assuming everyone who's got a Thermomix has given it a crack. There's definitely some gluten-free ones. I think the gluten-free people are going to save a lot of money, because if you're milling your own flours, a lot of the gluten-free flours are rice flour, almond flour, nut flour, chickpea flour. You can mill all those yourself, buy your things in bulk, and you're good to go. I forgot to get my nut butter out, but I make, my kids like the peanut butter, but because I do the low carb kind of diet, I tend to make almond butter, which is just beautiful. So, yeah.
That's awesome. And looking at your list here too, you've got some of the other favourite basics of things like grated cheese. So that is a huge cost saving with Thermomix. So if you're buying cheese pre-grated, well, it's just covered in a whole lot of nasties and coagulants. So just buying a block of cheese, tasty cheese, and grating it as you need it, or even grating it and just putting into smaller Ziploc bags into your freezer, there's a huge cost saving as well. I mean, have you done the exercise and you go along at the supermarket and you pick up 500 grams of tasty cheese versus tasty cheese in a bag, and look at the cost comparison? There really isn't any. So it's just, that's where it really first starts with cost saving. You've got pasta sauce, so definitely all your sort of Napolitana type tomato based sauces. Once again, 2 litres in your Thermomix bowl. So if you're, for us, we might be down at our grocery and we'll have a box of tomatoes for $10 on the softer side, and that's just a great time to pick up those and start doing all your jars of sauces, that sort of thing. We've talked about tacos, we love that. No, yeah, good. And smoothies. Like, I think a big thing with the Thermomix too is cost savings on juices and smoothies. We barely go to Boost Juice, but I walk past them and look at the price and think, oh my goodness. But juicing in the Thermomix is amazingly easy and cost saving, and so tasty.
They are. And if you've got little kids too, they're a great way of sneaking in some veggies and spinach, that they might not eat otherwise. So. Exactly.
Has anyone else got any other cost savings they want to share with us? So I've got the Madeleines. Helen said pizza's one of her husband's favourites. We are going to talk about some Takeaway Friday or some takeaway meals coming up. I'm looking at cost savings in that area, but I hope you guys are writing down some of these ideas and also jotting down some savings that, possibly you're making with these ideas as well. What are you making?
Jay just wrote vegan cheese. Yeah, fantastic. There's a whole vegan collection, which I'm sure you found, and in the Plant to Plate book there's a lot, which is also on Cookie Do. So vegan cheese, vegan mayonnaises, yeah, all sorts of things.
Jay might be able to say, because Jay, being vegan, do you find having a Thermomix is a huge cost saving? Because I just know those the recipes you've talked about, the vegan cheeses, and buying them is so expensive. So have you noticed with having your Thermomix for a week and looking at those recipes how much nicer it is to make them from scratch?
Yeah.
He's looking at them. You can go and mute yourself, but that's all good.
Oh, so I couldn't figure out how. Yeah.
That's
yeah,
okay.
Just in this little while, just like the vegan cheese, the milk, the cream, and stuff that I couldn't actually get. So things like cream is tough to get, and those sorts of other luxury, like with the stuff you use in baking, is really difficult to find vegan alternatives for.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
Yeah, just so much nicer as well, the taste of it.
They're great to hear, and you'll find that too. So with anyone who's got a dietaries, and the dietaries with the Thermomix is a big thing, and the big why. So it could be your gluten-free, it could be vegan. People are looking at nut-free sort of diets as well. Just being able to eliminate is what you can do with your Thermomix as well. Meal planning, something that's really important to us is the meal planning. What you can say about that, Lulu?
There was a figure that I pulled where 20% of food ends up in the bin. So, you think about how much, the average household wastes in food. With your meal planning, it can really save you money in a number of ways. So, reducing your waste, with your Thermomix, like we talked about with the stock, using every little bit. So, things like using the bones or the meat scraps to make a stock or a bone broth, using your veggie cuttings to make the stock. Here's a good one here. I've got the little butter bell here from the mix shop. So it actually sits upside down. So you can see here, I've got my butter in here. So hopefully you've all had a go at making butter, because not only is it lots of fun and quick, you use up your cream. So if you've got cream in the fridge, you can use it up, you churn it, you whip it, makes whipped cream. You go too far, you've got butter. You can actually freeze that butter once you've got it if it's made too much for you to eat in a week. And that comes to our next dot point, the specials. So your meal planning, you can plan around what's on special and what's in season. So you can have a look at the catalogue, see what's on sale, or look at the online shopping, see what's on sale. If you ever see cream on sale, buy it all, put it in the freezer, because you can always unfreeze it and make your butter, or make your butter and freeze it if you need to. Another big thing is, who's a sucker for that Aldi, those middle aisles in Aldi where they've got all the fun stuff? Impulse buying, let's talk about that. So if you're reducing your trips to the supermarket, and I'm a massive impulse buyer, I'm a sucker for those Aldi middle aisles. I normally, if I go into Aldi, I have to make a rule for myself, stick away from those two middle aisles. So, you know, you can avoid some of those impulse buys by reducing your trips. You're also going to save on petrol. Also, just in terms of being more efficient, you know, you can batch cook, you can, you know, make extra serves to freeze or to have for lunches. So rather than buying lunches, you might have, you know, serve up some that you take for lunch. And also, you know, it's not really a cost saving, but it's going to increase your creativity, because cookie dough, it just, it's mind blowing. I might hand over to Amanda to talk about meal planning and cookie dough.
All right, would you like me to share my screen?
Yeah, that would be great. Hang on, let me stop share here.
We'll have to be a little bit creative here, and I'm just grabbing my cookie dough. Here we go. Everyone can see my cookie dough screen. Awesome. So use your homepage as a big tip. So this homepage of cookie dough is actually changed quite regularly, or seasonally, I should say. So always have a browse through. You know that what you see up here, you're going to see on the homepage on your TM6 as well. But if there's anything that you like here, you know, have an investigate it. So you'll notice through here smart savings already. So, you know, that would be a great area where you can, you know, read more, bake it till you make it. And this, as I said, this gets changed all the time. So I love that with Thermomix, that they keep up to date on seasonality or something that's, you know, important. I'm going to just show you just by using your search bar. So a couple of things that I pointed out was, if you are looking at, you know, cooking down with waste, you can just search waste on your search bar here and use your filters, which is up here into your recipe area, jump into collections. And you'll notice here that Thermomix has got some no waste collections already on offer. So we've got, I mean, one thing, you know, which is new the previous month was that you're able to set your filters, which means you'll notice here that my filters are set at TM6, Australia, UK, United States, and that's why I've got 90 results have come up in the books area. So if you set your filters to add the other countries or even add English as your set filter, you're going to get all the English recipes. So that's looking for waste recipes in, you know, via a collection. If I click on recipes, it's also come through. So I've got, you know, 5,149 recipes just on recipes alone that are using up waste. So that's a great way to search down those recipes.
Oh,
you can also,
sorry,
yep.
I noticed on that last screen you had the almond pulp galette. So
yep.
when you do make your nut milks and your almond milks, you do end up with that pulp left over, and you can actually dry that out. You can use it as flour, or in that particular recipe, they've used it to make a galette.
Exactly, and that's another thing. So you know, we've just put the almond pulp in the search bar as 91 recipes. So if you are that nut milk maker, or you know, you can look for recipes where you can use that, you know, the almond pulp up. which is definitely things like breads, crackers, cakes. You can dry it out, you know, then it can become essentially a breadcrumb that you can use on a, you know, on a crumb coating for a schnitzel or something like that. But there's lots of ways you can use up that recipe. So same thing, I mean, we have a lot of, you know, same thing, looking at things like lemons. How about I spell it correctly? But if I'm looking what I can do with a lemon, you know, at this time of year, you can look at all those things, your curds, your lemonades, you know, anything that's a bit zesty. What was that? Yeah, exactly. So once again, your search bar, which is, you know, should be your best friend, because sometimes I find customers get a little bit, you know, caught up on what they're actually looking for. The other one that's great is if you're looking for things like, you know, your takeaway meals or your takeaway meals on a Friday night. What I tend to do is just, once again, use the filters, but jump into there. You know, I'm going to pick some main meat dishes, and I want to look at recipes that are total cooking time of 30 minutes, which now, you know, that takes me down to 126 recipes. So when you're looking, you come home and you've got 30 minutes, you can't bother cooking, you know, this is how you can plan. So you can look at something, you know, something came up ahead, but here's all your recipes that are 30-minute prep time or 30-minute total cooking time. So that should give you some ideas. And what I would start doing is start popping those recipes into its own collection. So for example, I love the look of the beef taco. So let's just start making, adding it to a collection, which I've already got that sort of thing, but we'll just start it up again. So add to a collection. I'm just going to call it here, takeaway, and away we go. So that means that, you know, I love the look of the hoisin pork bowl as well. Add it to a collection. I've already created that collection here, which will be down here. I wish it stayed up on screen. That could be the next one that comes. But there's that start of that collection, takeaway, and I'm adding another recipe. So you see what I mean as far as, you know, saving time. But, you know, when you start looking at your meals or things that you want to cook in the week ahead, you start doing that and creating your own collections. Lulu before was talking about the recipes, or, you know, the basic recipes. So I just went through quickly tonight. I had a look at her PowerPoint, and these are all the recipes that she had suggested through her cost savings. So you can see here we've got, you know, nut butter, brioche butter. All these recipes are all on cookie dough. So these are things that you want to make, you know, create a list of basic items, but, you know, here they are sitting over in my shopping list. Now, if I wanted to go to town, I could, you know, here they all are ready to make. But same thing, I can look at, you know, the nut butter. We'll just show ingredients. And look, hands up if you're using your shopping list and your meal planning functions. Good, Jay, that's great, first weekend. But there's my 13 recipes. I love to look at my, do my shopping list via recipe. So I just go through my nut butter and I start clicking off on the right here of the ingredients that I have in my pantry already. And that's the way I can, you know, cook down or, you know, shop what I need. But just for it, say I needed all these ingredients here, you can just use that order ingredient button. Takes me straight into Woolworths. Okay, this is without even eliminating those items, and they all just line up here. And that's, you know, here goes all my basic ingredients, but you can swap things out. So you can, if I don't want the white wings plain flour 1 kilo, you just swap it out. So you know what, for when you know, I'm not a shop at home type of person, but I must say, you know, through last year, we had a few of those lockdown situations. It's great and convenient, you know, order in the morning, deliver in the afternoon. It's okay to do that, guys. We don't always have to be in the supermarket, but it's a really good way to meal plan, as well as a great way to not be buying all those extra items that you're seeing in the aisle. So if you're not using that, reach out to us. But yeah, give it a go and share your thoughts on that.
Thank you, Amanda. All right, so yeah, so cookie dough, very valuable tool, pays for itself, I'm sure. So a little bit, we've touched on this before, so food waste. So using up your food waste is a great way of making savings as well. So we talked about the meat trimmings to make bone broth. If you've got brown bananas, they make the best banana bread. Please, if your bananas are going brown, chop them up into little slices, peel them, of course, pop them in a Ziploc bag in the freezer, and do make the Donna Hay banana bread, because it whips up the frozen bananas first, and it is the best banana bread ever. Not on cookie dough, but talk to your consultant and they can help you with converting recipes, or I'm sure it's on the recipe community. And if you're buying in bulk, you get less packaging and your things are costing less. So buy in bulk things like nuts, your flour,
Your
lots
sugars, all those sort of things, all your pulses, beans, exactly. And you probably find it'd be great to see just a combination in the chat box of people who had their Thermomix a while, what they do buy in bulk now and how their pantry looks. Versus, you know, with our new owners, we sort of give suggestions. You know, I'm not going to tell you what to buy, but we can certainly give you suggestions. And I bet you'll find between the newer owners and the, you know, ones that have been around a while, just how different their pantry looks now.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the one thing, like as you get your Thermomix, you know, at the start, you might find you're buying ingredients for recipes, but after a while, it's just so stocked up and ready to go for all these things. Like, it's probably, if you've got OCD, don't look, but my pantry up here, I've got bulk bought spices that, you know, I use to make my spice mixes. So every time I want to make a tandoori paste, I've got everything there ready to go. Green chicken curry, I just buy the fresh ingredients. All right, let's jump to the next slide. One of my favorites, big draw card for me for Thermomix. Now, I do know over COVID times, I did support some of the local restaurants and would do a Friday night takeaway, but generally we tend to do fake away. If you haven't heard this term, it's basically restaurant quality meals in under 30 minutes in your Thermomix. There is a fake away collection on Cookie Do, so you can see the picture there, and Amanda actually pulled some of these up on screen before. But generally, most of these recipes, unless you're using a high-end fish or something, you'll find that they're under $5 per serve.
Can I just say one of my favourite recipes from this collection, Lulu, is definitely that quick gyros with the tzatziki. If you haven't made that, guys, put it into your cookie dough, and it's a must do.
Actually, yeah, I made it the other day, and I made this flatbread. I've forgotten how to say it. It's from a different recipe, but it's you can see it's quite a thick one.
Is it paratha or roti?
Yeah.
Or which one is it? Paratha? Yeah.
Paratha, yeah. Sorry, I couldn't remember how to say it. And that was just a beautiful combination, the homemade tzatziki. You know, and I know if we go to our local gyros shop, you know, you probably, for a family, we'd probably spend $80 to get a meal, whereas making it at home, you know, I think I spent about, I bought some really nice lamb, so I probably spent $20 on a really good cut of lamb, but then everything else I pretty much had here. So the yogurt I'd already made for the tzatziki was in my thermoserver ready to go.
So that's just a great combination of great ideas of just recipes for one collection, and as you said, Lulu, just some awesome takeaway Friday meals.
Yeah, and I'm surprised in that fake away menu that there's no pizza. Anyway, I guess everyone just knows the Thermomix makes the best pizza dough. All right, so hopefully you've written down some fake away favorites, and maybe you've got some ideas there about what you might cook. So we might talk about some of these savings guides. Amanda, would you like to roll with this one? Do you want me to bring it up on screen, or?
I'll just have a quick chat. I'll just grab my savings meal plan.
Okay. Yeah.
Give me 2 secs. Has anyone seen the savings guides that have come out? So recently a new one came out with Thermomix. So it's the 28-day savings plan. So we really encourage our new customers, and I am just trying to find it. Give me 2 secs. To look at these savings guides and really start also sort of like before meal planning with them. So here we go. Is it up there for you? The 28-day savings meal plan. Can I get a thumbs up? Just making sure you can see it. It's all good, Lulu?
Yeah.
Yep. So this is an ebook. So we have quite a few ebooks with Thermomix. You'll find that if you jump onto the website, or we can send you the link. Actually, I'll put the 2 links up shortly, that you can just register to receive a meal plan. But what it is, and this is a new one, so it gives you ideas of how to cook out, you know, these recipes for the next 28 days using your Thermomix. So we've taken all the hard work out for you. So you can see here week 1, and it just gives you ideas on Sunday prep, you know, and what to cook for the week ahead. Now, you know, you can follow the suggested plan to the T, or you can just, you know, select some some meal items out of there. So it's got week 1. It gives you a bit of prep for Sunday, some ideas on cooking. Now, if I wanted to make the buttermilk bread or the lentil bolognese, all I need to do is click on the lentil bolognese recipe, and it opens up into my cookie dough. So straight away from there, I can just use my add button. I can add it to my week. So say I'm going to cook that on Monday. We'll just start with next week, Monday the 21st. We'll save it. And also I need to shop for that recipe. So I'm going to add it to my shopping list. Now, as you saw before, guys, what was that?
Sorry, Amanda. That's another great saving tip too, is, you know, increasing the number of vegetarian meals you have. So if you're having lentils instead of the meat bolognese, that's quite a big saving as well, because you're probably paying $9 for 500 grams of mince compared to, you know, the lentils would cost you 50 cents or something if you soak them.
Exactly. So as I was saying, you can just go through your meal plan for that week 1 and click on whichever of these ingredients that are, you know, in the bold green there, and it'll take you straight to your cookie dough. So as you can see, I love it. It's sort of and also by the time you get to the end of the meal plan, it's actually quite tricky, because it's got you to, you know, like use the bulk of your functions on your Thermomix for the next 28 days. So you're making soup on a Monday, you're, you know, steaming, making cabbage rolls, etc. This is your first week, remember. You're getting to make curry chicken and salad wraps. So you're using all these different functions, and also it's giving you ideas on how you can use your Thermomix every day for breakfast, lunch, dinner, for meal planning, for dinner parties, for cooking for lunch, for doing some staple pantry items and that sort of thing as well. So I just love that it's kind of, you know, it's that ideas about, you know, how to use your Thermomix. So I'm just scrolling up slowly, and as you can see, so that was my week 1 done, and it went through the whole week. Then we head into week 2, same thing, Sunday meal prep, some ideas on recipes to make and what to do on Sunday, and then it branches into your Monday. So you've got 2 choices of recipe, or recipes with, you know, some dressing, and so on and so forth. So if you haven't used this meal plan yet, as I said, I'll put the links up. There's a couple. There is a vegetarian one. This is the new one, the savings plan. There's just a 28-day basic plan as well. And I love the way Thermomix are sort of forward thinking in that area, because we sort of think of it like it's like a kickstart to your Thermomix. So you get your Thermomix, you know, we connect with you, we do the handover, and we make your stock and all that sort of thing. And then it's a bit like, oh my God, what am I going to make? Because you've got this awesome machine and you're really keen to get going. And yeah, we can give you all the ideas, but this is kind of all stepped out for you. Your next 4 weeks, and you know, and isn't it a great idea to connect with your consultant and share what you're making? So if you love that, pop it in the chat box. If you haven't seen it before, we'll give you the links to join, and you know, we'd love to, you know, sort of ride along that journey with you as well. I've done in the past a challenge where I cook 1 recipe a day through the 28-day plan. And that's really good, because I'll just choose a recipe and we'll, you know, cook it together. And then there is a Facebook group for this, the 28-day Facebook group. If you join that group, you'll see how people are using that as well. So I love groups, because it really, if that's what you're keen on, then why don't you join the group, and then you'll be, you know, people will just cook along from that. And that's where I share the challenge as well. So I could sort of go on and on about that, but I'm just conscious of time. But I just think that's a great, you know, suggestion and great thing to do. So I'm going to find the links, pop them in the chat box. If you miss out on it here, you just go to the thermomix.com.au Australia page, and there's a 28-day meal plan tab on there, which leads you directly to the link, because it just asks you to join up, register, and then they send you out the ebook. Any questions on that?
No.
Any questions on that? No? Awesome. So I'll grab the links for you.
Okay, and I can also email them out afterwards as well. Yeah, so
we actually, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, just really quickly, I was just going to show you, there are these ones I emailed out this afternoon as well. So there's an entertaining, how much you can save. So a lemon tart, cost per serve $1.38, creme brulee 99 cents a serve. We've also got, sorry, my screen's in the way, lunchbox one. So you've got the link for this today. So there's pizza pockets, zucchini slice, all these things are less than $1 a serve. Cheese scrolls, and we have some accessories for carting around your lunches and stuff like that from our mix shop. All the breads that you can save. So your biscuits, chocolate chip cookies, 30 portions, 25 cents a serve, and I'm assuming a serve would be two of those. Flatbreads and wraps, 43 cents for a serve. Hummus, $2.82, and I'm pretty sure that makes, it's 800 grams. So there's lots of different things there. The yogurt savings, again, 96 cents total cost, 12 cents a serve. And then the other one here is your low waste savings, which we've talked about, buying in bulk and making chai tea and your stocks and things. So I'm just going to stop that share, jump back into here. And I'm sorry we've gone over, and thank you all for sticking with us. So what we'd like to do is hands up if you have been tallying up some savings as we go. Oh, yep, we've got a couple. So what we might do is we might just see if you want to pop in the chat, if you can quickly do your summary or your totals, then we can see how much you've saved. Pop in the chat how much you've saved off your weekly grocery bill. And yeah, we'd love to hear from you. So Frank is saying $37.75. The PDFs, I will send them around. 42 for Harsha. Jeremy, about $50. That's good.
I also, we'd love to see too anything that you've seen tonight that you think you definitely would be now making your Thermomix that you didn't know you could before. So share the love with that.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we always hear it's like $40 to $50 per week. I see on savings is kind of what an average is, owning a Thermomix. So, you know, as I said, Thermomix can pay for itself. So yes, you invest in it, but then it can, you know, essentially it can pay for itself. So I reckon that's a great thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Coffee, absolutely.
Oh, $60 Jay.
Yeah.
23 for May. Oh, that's good because May's had her Thermomix for a while, so that's good that she's maybe saving even more. Jay's saving a lot on pizza. Okay, that's fantastic. And I suppose the other thing to have a think about, we do have a lot of consultants on here tonight, and you know, like Amanda was saying at the start, it is a bit of a community, and you know, we really do enjoy our job. Most of us are here because we love it, because we love our Thermomixes. But there is definitely a business opportunity there. There is money to be made. You have a Thermomix, you can make money from it. And just by sharing your love of the Thermomix. So we actually have a business info session on every Wednesday. We have two of them every Wednesday, a 1:30 p.m. and a 7:30. Am I right? Or is it 8? I've forgotten. Sorry, Amanda.
No, it's 7:30. Yep.
Yep, 7:30. So if you're interested in that, chat with us or chat with your consultant, and you can find out how you can make some extra savings with your Thermomix. If you like free stuff, we get a lot of incentives, a lot of goodies along the way. You can earn a Thermomix, or if you've got a Thermomix and you're thinking of upgrading or getting a second one, it's a great way of getting one on your bench. Anything else you want to add on that, Amanda?
Oh, I think you covered all that. You did really well there. I always say turn your business, your Thermomix into your business partner. So, and you know, that's what we do, and it's a great time to come in and join the business, and you can see what Lulu does and what I do, and this is what it's all about, is just sharing, you know, with our customers and you guys. And just wanted to say thank you for jumping on tonight.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for coming. So I'm just looking through the chat. Looks like, am I right, Jay has made the biggest savings, $60, followed closely by Jeremy. So our thermo men are leading the competition.
You know what I find? I actually find that new customers are right onto that, because that is their first or second week buying, so they know how they're shopping. And especially with Jay, he's looking at, you know, those vegan ingredients that are expensive. So great that you've noticed that cost saving with Thermomix already, Jay. So awesome. I look after the commercial industry a lot, and I will say that the vegan market for us has been huge at Thermomix, because of that fact that, you know, the restaurants, there's so many more out there now, are just making everything from scratch, and they love the Thermomix for that. Yep. Yeah.
Well, Jay, I'll have a small prize for you, so I'll make sure I get that to you in the next week. I've got I should have it here, but I've got one of our lovely spatulas. We've got these ones in lovely colours. I'm just going to launch a very quick poll. We'd love your feedback. If you can just spare just a minute to just answer a couple of questions, that would be fantastic. Thank you. And just while you're doing that, it should pop up on your screen, hopefully. And if you can answer those, that would be amazing. Now, you know, if you want to come off mute, and if you want to show your face, we'd love to see it. You're welcome to ask Amanda or I any questions if you've got some that you want to ask.
Ask away while we're here.
Yeah.
Is that Christine Best? Is that Christine who is Peter's sister? Is she a friend of yours?
Yeah, that's me.
Oh my God, how are you?
Good, how are you, gorgeous?
Very, very good. I see your name pop up everywhere, so nice to see you.
Yeah, I love
not
these online classes. They're great.
Yeah, it's nice to hear. Thanks for that.
Great.
I used to work with Christine's brother, so yeah, it's a small world.
Oh, very small world. And now I noticed, Jeremy, you made a comment that I think you're going to come to the biz next week. I believe you're Dosta's customer. Is that right? Sorry, I'm putting you on the spot, Jeremy. But yeah, Dosta mentioned, Dosta's in my team, so she did mention that you were interested in finding out a bit more about it. And I believe you're a fairly new Thermomix owner as well. Yeah. Okay, so it looks like the poll, we've got 11 people who have answered the poll out of 20 of us. So the feedback, it's great to see everyone enjoyed, got some valuable info. Yeah, people want the 28-day meal planning. I'll make sure I email the links to you tomorrow. Now, if you could just pop in the chat for me too, I would love to hear your biggest takeaway from tonight. What's if there's one thing that you're going to take away that's resonated with you, what is that?
It's not a meal, I'm guessing, either, Lulu. Or maybe it is. Maybe it's a meal that you're going to make or something you're going to make in your Thermomix. But yes.
Yeah, so meal planning.
Meal planning, yep.
Meal
is that something you'd like to see more of? Is it, like I said, these Zoom classes are guided by you, our customers. So if it's meal planning you want to see more of, or specific Zoom classes, I think now, you know, Zoom classes have been great for us, haven't they? Because it's just a beautiful captured audience. From our kitchen to yours. So I think the last year we've done over 50 Zoom classes, our team. So yeah, I feel like I've got my own little cooking show now.
Yeah, fantastic. And Amanda's been doing lives on her page, Mrs. Thermo, almost every day, pretty much, haven't you, for the last few weeks?
Trying. Just I mean, just when I've got a spare moment, I'll just jump into that live space. Because sometimes I found too that the Zoom classes are great, but it's not always easy for everyone to register. Whereas we do a live segment, I just sort of do something when I'm cooking in the kitchen, and then it just sits on the page and anyone can view it. So I think the little sort of, for me, was sort of jumping back into that live space, because the Zoom classes are quite good because it's registered and it's a private class, where going public is a bit, you know, but anyway, it's all good.
Yeah. Oh, lovely. And Lisa, thank you for joining. Lisa's new in Suzanne's team, and so
nice.
she's doing her first BYB tomorrow, so business training. So enjoy. That will be a great session. I'm sure you'll have a lot of fun. So
for those that don't know what BYB is, that is for new consultants, build your business. So it's a session done on Zoom. Yes.
Yeah. All right. I think the poll is done. I am going to end the polling. Thank you so much for your feedback. I'm going to share the results so you can see what people thought. Hopefully you can see that on your screen. So you'd like to see more classes. Everyone wants most people want the 28-day meal planning ebook. Want to see more classes. That's great to know, because we do enjoy doing them. And further information. So a few people want some other stuff, some info. A few people wanting a second Thermomix. Okay, so lovely. So thank you. All right. So sorry, I'm just trying to stop share the poll. Stop share.
Yep, that was great. Thank you, everyone. The 28-day save or meal savings guide is in the chat. You can scroll back, just copy it, and then when you can put it into your browser and you can sign up and receive that copy. As I said, there's 4 ebooks. The others are all available through the thermomix.com.au Australia page. You can get. Why don't you get the 4 books? I say.
Why not? Why not? They're fantastic.
Make sure you share with us how that works out for you, and let Lulu know, and myself. Because I think you'll just find it's just like the plan. It's all already there for you, and you can start. Obviously, you can start it whenever you want. You don't have to do the whole thing, but it's really good to have a look at it once a week and just plan that week ahead. Choose some recipes out of there, because as I said, it really gets you using your cookie dough, meal planning, using the shopping list, using other ingredients, and it's just a great way to get acquainted with your Thermomix or reacquainted.
Yeah, find some extra inspiration if you're in a bit of a lull.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Lovely. All right, I'm going to stop the recording. Thank you all so much for coming. Amanda, thank you so much for being my co-host. Thanks to all our customers, future customers, our consultants who've come along today. It's lovely having you all here.